everybody, welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips, the Monday edition. The Monday edition that's been completely derailed by Christmas. Oh, is this Reaper's partner anniversary? Great mistake? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Hi everybody. I'm Anne, your host. We are accompanied by Disembodied Hands Quinny and Disembodied Beard John and whatever other Reaper personnel wants to stagger into the stream, really. I'm pretty chill today. Because I am off caffeine. This is my day 3 of completely off caffeine. So it's we have to wait for my body to recover normal energy levels. Until then, it's chill. It's just chill. How are you all today? Did I miss any subs? I gotta go back up. Nope, no subs missed. Good. Excellent. So we have some boring basing to do, and then we've got some exciting basing to do. We've got basing today. So we're going to work on Alistrilee and making her base look more natural, better, generally not suck. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to... I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to apply basing material today. Now that I really look at it and see how much we've got to do, I do think... partner anniversary. Yes. Cool. I really feel like the milliput did not do what I wanted it to do down there. And I feel like if I'm going to fill this in, I want to use either green or my sculpting gel, my sculpting paste. But... oh, you're painting minis for Reaper. Very cool. Very cool, Zachariah. God knows they need somebody. Don't let Ron bully you around. And when you get really annoyed at him, you have to make up your code now, Zachariah. Do you not know there's a code? Okay, so maybe we didn't tell. Okay, for every Reaper, and you count as on-site because you're in Texas. So here's the deal. Ron, if you're watching, go away. In order to be able to vent your spleen in a non-aggressive manner when Ron really gets on your nerves about painting things, you have to have a code. So for me, it was I would paint a character pink, which Ron hated every time I got really irritated. Oh, you're just a freelancer. I don't know. I'm just telling you though. But that's the kind of thing, right? I'm not going to tell you Martin's code. But those are the only 2 on-staff painters that Reapers had. You're a close freelancer, so, you could also have a code. So if it's just a model you hate, or if you just feel annoyed at Ron for some reason, feel free to develop your own artist code, your own Reaper artist code that you enact passive-aggressively whenever, you get in that mood. It helps to work out negative emotions. What can I say? I think my favorite that I painted pink was a halfling assassin. I managed to paint it in dark pink. It was still dark! Yeah, and Green Users puts feathers and cuffed boots on sculpts because Ron hates that. Yes, so Bob and Julie also have an artist code. Yes. Kiki, are you snoodling my basing materials? You're not supposed to snoodle. Are you wanting to come up early? Do you want to come up and say hello to the stream early? Is that the thing? Let me see if Keeks wants to come up. You want to come up? Come on. Up. No? You don't want to come up, huh? You're a silly girl. All right, Papa. All right. You done? Well, if you're not going to come up, then I'm going to go and work. Yep. If there's no pup appearance, then it's work time. Passive-aggressive painting. Yes, I'm not passive-aggressive in pretty much any other portion of my life at this point, but the artist code for GUR, I really like. So, yeah. Yes. So, devise that's your assignment now, Zachariah, is to devise your own artist code. Whenever you turn something in and Ron's like, oh, did you have to blah? Or I don't know if I'm into the blah, you can kind of go, I was into the blah, and then that can become your thing. Zits on ogres, oh no. Yes, there was a Kiki, she just didn't want to jump up. Was the first time Ron asked that. Zits on ogres, oh my god. All right, all right. Well, let's do some green work on Alistrilee's base because the milliput, I mean, was good for kind of like slotting in material, but otherwise I'm less than thrilled for it. So we'll do some sculpting today. But yeah, so grab my green, mix it up, and all the day you'll have good luck? No, that doesn't work. Crows and Bones, resub, 28 months, nice. Oh, lots of people coming in saying happy partner anniversary. Thank you, everybody. Reaper thanks you. Yeah, we've been doing this for a while. A while now. All right, so I'm pinching off my bits of green. I'm going to actually do a fair amount of it because I have a lot of area I can fill in on this base. I don't really need to smooth anything in because I'm working on a base. So if I have the same amount of blue as yellow, I'm fine. And even a little bit more blue than yellow, I'm still going to be fine. As long as you're close enough. Let me see what I've got here. These are roughly the same size. So we'll be just fine. Yes, thank you everybody coming in and wishing us happy partner anniversary. Yeah, feathers are, that's just it, right? Feathers are good for accent colors. So are crystals and gems, jewelry if it's big enough, you know, hair bands sometimes, that kind of thing. So to mix up our green stuff until we can see those little threads of yellow and blue disappear. And it should be pretty like soft and gooey. If it's really stiff, you're probably working with older green. And you should remember to store your fresh green in the freezer so it stays good longer. Alrighty. So we got a nice uniform green now. Excellent. Now we want to get our model up here where we can be in the correct focal zone. Zone of focalness. And then I need my plastic so I can put my big chunk of green down on it to hang out. And I need my sculpting tools. Metal and I wonder if I put, oh there it is. I need one of my spade tools because they're my favorite tools for blocking in rocks. And then I'll grab my taper tool that I love so much just for in case I want to smooth areas. We'll see. My favorite gemstone is opals. Nice, Kernico. Nice, Kernico. Pink and yellow. No, I got it. Great. I always so like turquoise when they've got different colors in them. Alrighty, so let's start let's do the back here. And when we do that, we'll get a feel for what we're going to end up doing. I'm just going to pinch off part of this. It's more than I need, but that's alright. I can just spread it around the base as we go. I don't own that many. A lot of the necklaces that I get from David are actually like gold that's worked, like no gems. Although I do have two opal things because he knows I love opal. So we've got this nice curve of green here. We can, oh, it's not quite far enough. There we go. Just kind of stick it down, tap it around. it to really curve on itself there. Alright, so now we're going to use this sculpting tool to press it down and around. But yeah, other than the ring and the opal ring and the opal necklace, which I think also has onyx in it, I don't normally go much for gems. I like Alistrilee, and a lot of the stuff that is really kind of artistic is just shaped metal and not gemstone adorned. So like the one he just bought me in all the different shades of gold. Alright, so we're gonna, first of all, you just want to block it in. Nice layer. Bob likes sapphires. Ooh, fluorite, yeah. I also like, if we're just on, you know, gems I really like but don't necessarily like wearing jewelry, I also love tiger's eye. The kind of blue-black one with the golden brown in it. Now we don't have to cover over everything on the top here. Oh, I just remembered we totally broke this model last time we painted it. But you know what? I'm sitting here green stuffing the back of it. That leg is not going to move. I do have my new glue, just in case we need to glue it. But this sticky stuff up against the bottom of this cape is actually going to help cement it in place. So I'm just going to double down on that actually now that I've remembered that we did that. Just kind of like nudge it right up against there. So using green to skid over the top of this is kind of, if it's just going to be like more or less flat, is kind of a waste of green stuff. We could use our sculpting paste for that. And it would be a lot cheaper and it would be a lot faster. But that said, around the outside of this, I wanted to maybe do some texturing on the back, so that's why I wanted to reach for the green today. We don't have a lot of room on the back here. I like rocks too. That's why I'm sculpting them today. Although I might want a little bit, well, this is okay. I just need to watch what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take the natural tool marks that happened when I was blocking this in and use those as a guide as to where I want my rocks. I want smaller sections of stone and bigger sections of stone, so I'm just going to kind of cut those in. So I'll cover the top with turf and probably go right up to the edge of this drop off and just try to make this look. We could also use cork and use this as a stamp. Let's do that, and let's do a combo of that then. Let's see what we can do. We don't have a lot of room, but this will texture it. This will texture the stone really well. So there, that ripped things up a bit, but I can still work with it. So now I can take this textured surface and I can cut into it. If I want to suggest little rocks in there, I can pick out little rocks in there. Though just using the texture alone is certainly good enough in this case, but I want to put a little rock in there just for fun. I don't think you have to own it to say it's your favorite gemstone. I didn't have any opals up till recently. Up till our Mexico trip, I didn't have any, even though they were my favorite, but they were still my favorite. And if I want to, I can also take the top of this if I have room. Every once in a while, little bits of cork will fall off and get embedded in your green, and that's not a bad thing either. This is a really good texture stamp, though, using a side of cork. It's really good for natural soil. So we can just tap that cork into the surrounding green, and we'll get a nice weathered surface that we didn't really have to do much work for, which is great. Yay, less work. Now I'm going to bring around some of the green to the front. I may actually need to mix up more green. Hey, Agent Marvel. I found some decaf black tea at the I had to go to the big store to get the correct gift card for my mother for Christmas yesterday, the big Safeway, and they had decaf chai, so today it's decaf chai, which has so little caffeine that I'm not even counting it. When you've got less than 4 milligrams, you're essentially zero. I had the weirdest dream last night, but you guys would really appreciate it because it was a really good story dream. For some reason, I was living over where you are, like Kreniko. I was living in like Scotland or something, and there was a magic zone, and there was a guy who essentially who deceived my friends and I into. He was the GM, and he was like, "Hey, we'll go into the magic zone, and you'll play your character, and we'll do a role-playing game in it." And instead, he was actually a psycho killer, because my dreams tend to be about people trying to kill me. But like when you went into the magic zone, you would get like limited abilities related to your character sheet. But then this guy was out to kill you. So it was that kind of dream. It was a good story dream though. Every once in a while I get a dream that could turn into a story if I wanted to make it a story. It would definitely be a story though. No, he was. I don't even remember his name. He was short and blonde and looked like an ex-boyfriend of mine from the past, kind of. But a lot more evil. A lot more malevolent. It was just a fun dream. Although I knew that it was a dream because if it was real me, I would have been a cleric or something with shape-shifting powers, and instead I was an illusionist. But I was able to fool him into thinking that he had killed me because of my illusion powers. And that was about when Kiki woke me up with vomiting. 'Cause dogs. She eats, when she eats the tail end of her bully stick, she won't digest that plug of stuff, and so she just barfs it up the next morning. It's ridiculous. So I didn't sleep great last night. The rain kept waking me up. My brain was like, rain! And I was like, shut up, brain, I really want to go to sleep. So this makes a nice, if you choose an edge that's more compact like this, you get a much more subtle texture like this, which is really nice for this kind of sweep of ground that we're looking at. Oh no, Zachariah. Yeah, I can't watch zombie movies. Zombie eating people noises and all that crap. Can't do it. Yeah, due to a dream, yes. Yeah, I got that. Yep. I have a lot of everybody's trying to kill me dreams. But this was a very specific one person trying to kill me dreams. But yeah, when I have a dream like that, it's kind of fun because my writer brain will try to play with it, as I'm waking up. It'll try to extend the story and, play with it to see if it's a really good story. Some short stories I've written in the past have come directly from dreams. Or at least the seed of them did. Alright, I'm going to actually let this overlap and look a little ugly, and what we're going to use that to do is essentially two big stony, protrusions, different ones. So instead of just making the same texture, we'll grab a slightly different edge. And we'll suggest 2 rocks, and we'll emphasize that crack running down the middle too. Oh, it means that Reaper became a Twitch partner on this day several years ago. So people have been swinging in and wishing us a happy partner anniversary. If I would have known, I would have prepared something special. Thinking we got a little piece of cork stuck to our rock. That's okay though. I'll need to come at it probably from a different direction because I'm seeing some repetitive texture, so that's okay. I'm just going to squish that in. The top I'm not so concerned with because I'm probably going to cover it with gravel and then do grass on it. I like to put down a thin film of gravel first before I put static grass down. Because I just find it makes the surface a little more irregular and it less flat, and it looks more real. Looks more natural. Now we'll make this emphasize. Thanks, don't forget to stretch. Yeah, a lot of people have been coming in and saying, happy partner anniversary. We appreciate it. Going to make kind of a little divot down here. Oh, I lost water off of my sculpting tool and it didn't want to, it wanted to stick. And I think I'm going to overlap just a little bit here. Oh, I see. Twitch just pops the thingy out. Well, that's cool. All right, so we've got kind of a nice irregular section. Got a little bit of a protuberance there, more of a rounded zone here, a little bit of a split in the earth here, which I like. We can work with that. All right. I'm going to super glue in the top of this, I think. I'm going to reach for my turf mixture, I think, for this one, which has a little bit of gravel in it, and it has some turf and some sand and some leaves and some static grass, and but yeah, so we're using our mixture here. Oh, yeah, okay, I will, Reaper, thanks. No, I haven't actually. I had my email checked this weekend, but I haven't checked it today. Let me just see if I got anything from, oh, Brent and John. Okay, I see it from Brent. Okay. So it's the metallic paint one. Goobertown. Brent Amberger. Yep. Got it. Okay, I'll keep it up on my email. Thanks for the heads up, John. Should be able to get to it later today. But first, Christmas. Christmas is killing today. Christmas is destroying today. Like, I should be doing all sorts of other actual work-related things, but instead, I have to wrap stuff and run to the UPS store and put it all in the mail. Because yesterday, we went Christmas shopping and it got out of hand. So today is a total wash for me. Except for getting Christmas off my brain. Yeah. Yep. All right, so where is my happy glue? And this is where also I like to use more fluid glue. You can use white glue also, of course, to flood an area when you're going to be adding basing material. I do tend to use super glue because I never make it through an entire bottle of Zap-A-Gap anyway, so I may as well use it for basing. And an extra, and they gave me an extra little plastic bag, which are always useful. Tiny plastic bags are always useful. Okay. Sweet. Now, day 18, what am I getting? The Zapping App comes with the cap actually attached to the top, so you twist it off, and then you've got a snozzle. I love this nozzle. This nozzle is nice when you need more precise work, which with miniatures you tend to. There we go. I may put this aside for a little bit though, instead of going ahead and like being overeager. I may work on Link for a bit. So we kind of got a combined stream today. Sorry, Wendy. But I figured that we'd have to wait for stuff to set before we actually... If I throw super glue on it at this point, it's not a big deal. It'll crystallize the edge of the green a little bit. But what will happen is that when I dip it into my basing material, that'll stick to the green because the green is still too sticky right now. So we may put Alistrilee aside for a moment and deal with Link. We'll let her set up. We may just do 2 days of basing and do them both on both days. Because I'm still using other stuff on this too. That's right. This is a far more complicated one. And we were using... And I was thinking about making a channel down the middle with green stuff. That's right, that's right. Alright, I could do that. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to do with it. I think we're pretty good though. Okay. So I am gonna I'm gonna work with that cork a little bit more though. I want one of my chisel tools. That one's a blunt tip. Yeah, I use that. I'm gonna be able to sharp one. I have a couple different chisels, which is the shape I really like to work with cork. Yeah, I've totally avoided the Wham song as well. Oh no, Wendy. Alright, so we're going to just grind away a little bit more of this cork here in the channel that I want to do the water in. We're going to keep our little crumblies as I did before, because crumblies are useful things. Housemaid lost on day 2. George Michael is still making royalties on that song. But now that you've mentioned it, I got the darn thing in my head, so... It'll go away, I'm sure. There are far better songs to have in my head. Just wanted to get this channel a little deeper. Oh no, Graniko. Well, we didn't hear, I don't think that the bookstore we were in yesterday actually was playing Christmas music. If they were, I didn't notice it. That would have been our biggest danger point. That or the grocery store. Alrighty. So now I want to use some green stuff to suggest a flow of water. I can go over the top of that with more water effects, but I don't like to use the water effects for this because I want a really smooth surface, and it has actually pretty hard to do with water effects because it's so gooey. Oh no. Probably Pendrake. You seem pretty isolated as far as like pop culture. You probably would not recognize it. You should count yourself lucky. Far better George Michael songs out there. Yeah, if you ever listen to the radio and you hear Christmas music, Pendrake, you've probably heard the song. But if you don't, then you may have been spared. Yes. So being pop culturally challenged means you don't even know what we're talking about, but that is both the good and the bad. On the one hand, you're not at risk. On the bad, you can't help but, make fun of it and be in on the meme. That's the downside. Even the kitty cat is in on the meme. Trying to contribute to the conversation. Alright, I'm going to grab some yellow because I want this to be a little bit more gooey. I don't want it to be more stiff. I'll pinch it from alongside. Boom. She's really trying to communicate. Alright, once I've got that additional yellow mixed in, my green looks a lighter color, not as blue as the other. You can see the color directly, the change in it. So even from just mixing things together, you can get an idea of where you are as far as the green spectrum, whether you're more yellow or more blue. Alright, now let's get this plastered in. I think I'm going to be good with my clay shapers. Oh no. That's funny. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun thing. I don't remember it until I accidentally hear the song and then I'm like, oops. I think I'm going to spread this out more. So just pulling the green out into a big like watery pour shape. And I'm just going to blob it down here and see what I can do as far as guiding it. It's a big curl, big droplet, big water elemental tendril. And really I just want to see if I can, it might be too much. Boom. We'll see. Cut it off back here. Now I'm going to get my other tool. Hey, Kodiak. Yeah, long time no see. Can suggest a pouring shape. I'm gonna make sure this goes down here. Can drop it down like a waterfall. Down at the bottom. Trying to make it look like a flowing ribbon. Joker, I do not enjoy working with water effects without a base to work from. I don't think they really give me the effect I'm looking for. I am far better at sculpting water in green and then going over the top of it to create the water effect. But I really don't like the look of trying to just put the water effects in. If you use Woodland Scenics water effects or any like AK gel, those gel effects, they're just really hard to sculpt with. They're good to create little splashy effects and things like that. They're good to create icicles. They're good to create like string, like waterfall string kind of effects. But I want something in there like to be the water before I begin to do that. I really don't. When I did waves, like I did a river once going around a model, and I had waves that had froth coming off the top. I did all the waves in green. Then I added the water effects to give the effect of the water splashes. And that's the way I like to do it. I do not like... I think that water effects tend to be really chintzy and not look great when I see them used. They tend to be overdone, in my opinion, and they tend to not look right. Like, it takes a really skillful person to take those water effects and make them look right. If I were doing a bigger thing, I would consider doing, like, some clear plastic backdrop. And work from the clear plastic, and that is totally doable. But on something this little, it's really not feasible. It's a lot of trouble for very little return, essentially. So that's just me. It's how I like to do water on a tiny base like this. I do have a little bit of a lip at the bottom here if I want to pour water in, but really I was thinking about using my green and doing a wavelet effect instead. There isn't enough room on this for a resin pour, so you're not going to be able to do that. If you want really realistic water, you want to do resin stuff, but on a tiny 28mm base, you're just not going to have, like, I guess you could if you put, like, the clear plastic acetate around it and then poured it. But this is beyond the scope of what I would do on this stream. So yeah, I've always just preferred to sculpt my water as much as I can. I'm going to roll to level out my water here. I need to level out so it feels like it's in a pool. I can grab a little bit of my other stuff. Short answer. If you want to do realistic water effects, you want to be working with a bigger base than this, because you want to do resin pours and stuff. That's beyond the scope of this stream. And I personally I would never do it on a 28, not unless there was a big display base and there was a reason for it. I would much rather give myself a base for the water and then add water effects over the top. But I want to have something to work from. I want to get this to look more watery. Yeah, the water, I mean, I don't like realistic water. I actually use gloss sealer and gloss medium instead. Agent Marble. Because realistic water evaporates so much that you had to put so many layers of it down that I would just rather, at that point, I would rather use gloss. However, there is a water pour gel. I have it somewhere. There was something that we found on Amazon recently that looked really promising for a pourable water effect, a pourable resin water effect that looked a lot easier to use. Yeah, epoxy resin. It's a clear epoxy resin kit that you can use to do all sorts of jewelry and water effects. Yeah, I mean, I could put an acetate around here, but, like, I don't want to mess with that crap here on the stream, Broke Joker. Like, this is really a painting stream. I do basing every once in a while just because, but I tend to keep it simpler. I did do that. That said, I did sculpt a base with splashing waves, and I did illustrate using Woodland Scenics water effects for the splashes. But yeah, something like this, resin pour, I wouldn't want to, I don't think I'd want to do a resin pour. I want all this rock. Mostly, essentially my intention on this, Broke Joker, was I wanted a normal rocky base, but I just wanted a little trickle of water going down the front. Just enough to add interest to the base and to give my elf kind of a more springtime base. Because he's painted in a very springtime color scheme. Uh-oh, got some grit on the water. That's okay. We will be putting some effects on it. I need more of a, I'll need to give it more of a bank here though. I'm gonna have to build that up a little bit. I got a little bit too much green up here. Too much green. Guess I can slowly flatten it out. But yeah, I wouldn't do a resin pour on something this small. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could. It's just, I think it's more trouble than it's worth for a small base. And that wasn't, my concept wasn't to sink this model in water. My concept was just to have a little bit of a water feature. I've always liked adding small bits of water to bases because I think that when you introduce that element, you get a more interesting scenic base in general. It adds a certain movement component. Yeah, the water effects stuff is just, it's titchy to work with. The best water effects I've ever seen is still the one that my husband did on his mermaid. Like, the one that actually looks like the ocean is moving. And he like, worked with that base. Like, he had to do it 3 times to get the movement and the way, to get it to look the way he wanted. And in the end, it was a happy accident that it did. So, Joker, if you haven't seen that, hold on. Let me grab it. It's an amazing base. So the kind of thing that you want to pour on with green stuff. Oh yeah, well, here you go. Take a look at this. So this is, my husband is David Diamondstone. This was his entry for Crystal Brush. And he didn't win this year, or that year that he brought it, but look at how real it looks, guys. And by the way, the model does not go down this deep. What he did is he drilled out the underside so that he could paint the interior to look like the metal. Because he's just crazy. That's why I love him. That's why I married him. So this is the most realistic water base I've ever seen. Period. And this is the whole piece. I can't really show it to you. But it's Mermaid. God, I can't remember. Their license is owned by somebody else now. But yeah, so she's on this big rusted off side of ship or whatever it is. Yeah, I suggested the barnacles. The barnacles were me. I was like, you need barnacles to make this look right. And he's like, you're right. So yeah, so this is the kind of thing you want to put effort into a water base on. Like, it enhances everything about it, and it took a long time to get there, and it looks wonderful. Like, it just adds to the entire model. Whereas something that's 28 mil, you just don't have the room. You do not have the room. And if I try to just drizzle water effect down here, it's going to take so long to build up layers of it. Like if I drizzled realistic water or something, or a gloss sealer. So what I just do is I want that base that looks vaguely like water, and then I can put water effect, I can paint it, and then I can put water effects over the top of it to get the sheen. It's a resin pour. It's all resin pour. But keep in mind that David is like me, he's an internationally award-winning painter, and but unlike me, who does a lot of stuff for Twitch and for my Patreon, David only does models for competition, like in his free time, because, you know, he doesn't do this for a living like I do. So he puts a lot of time, a lot of hours, and he's put a lot of years into trying to get better and better, so because he's competitive, he wants to win. So he does have a crystal brush, not from that model, but he does actually have one of the Crystal Brush Awards, which is a huge thing, to have gone against some of the best in the world and come out on top. And the only thing he doesn't have is a Golden Demon, which I have, so... And he's working on the Golden Demon. But yeah, so, I mean, the difference, if you're just starting out in the hobby, Joker, like, don't let it intimidate you. That is you after, like, 25 years of intensely trying to get better. Because anybody who wants to can get to that level. It's just you got to care enough about it and put the time in. And be driven to get better. If you've got that kind of like personality, then you can go as far as you want to. If you want to read, actually, that's David's. So if you want to read the article about how he built that, how he did that resin, Broke Joker, you should go to his website. That's Light Miniatures, Light, miniatures.com. I think Quindy's got the link to it. There it is. Quindy just dropped the link to it there. He did if you look on his blog on that site, oh, I lost a piece of cork. If you look on his blog on that site, he actually goes through a step-by-step. He took pictures and documented how he did that water effect. And it's not hard, it's just like... So I've got my water is a little bit above my surrounding guys, so I'm going to have to build up stone around the edges of the water on these falls here. I'll probably actually go over the top a little bit, but that'll help it to look real. But yeah, everybody's got their own tricks for dealing with water. I've always been dissatisfied with the way that resin pours look until I saw David's. But, like, if I want to do it, that's the standard I'm holding myself to. That's, like, very difficult. But yeah, so David doesn't do YouTube, he doesn't do video, but he does have his blog to show how he built that mermaid space. And I think he talked about the model in general too, I don't remember. Alright, so here we go, and there we go, and I flatten out my water. Got it widening out a little bit down here, flowing apart. So that's a decent, like, we can see how that's going to become water. We're just laying the groundwork. And smoothing it, yeah, I could go over it with, like, water effects to change the surface, but if I get it smooth in advance, I've got less work to do. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like if you really want to get better at the hobby, you can do it. I mean, you can get it. You can go as far as you want to go. It's just staying motivated. Like if I stall out at some point in my career, it'll be because I just don't care to like push myself anymore. And usually when that happens, that's because I've hit a burnout phase and I need to get by the burnout in order to start learning again. So that's a danger also, especially when you do this thing for a living. You definitely have a danger of burning out. So up here I'm happier because it's sunk into this little crevice. I think I still want to put a little bit of additional rock detail and stuff up there. And I can use our sculpting paste to do some of that. I can just put more cork on here, or I can use green, which is going to let me control it a little bit more. But I kind of feel like here I want to build up some rocks, which means using my cork and ripping parts off of it. Yes. Yeah, ReaperCon, everybody always comes out of ReaperCon wanting to hobby more. That's the great thing about that con. And really, it's a great thing about any miniatures con. Adepticon often makes me feel the same way. So I'm going to rip off some smaller parts of stone, quote-unquote stone, i.e. cork. And I'm just going to see what I get. I could also rip them off with my sculpting tool, but I might get a little bit better. That's a little bit too big. Yeah, these guys are too big, so I need to cut them down a bit. There. Little smaller pieces. Yeah, I mean, there are other competitions as well. I mean, there's the Las Vegas Open, there's, the various historical competitions, which also have fantasy, sci-fi categories. There's plenty of, like, competitions to enter that aren't as high level as Golden Demon. Golden Demon itself is a weird competition because it's Games Workshop style, and you have to paint to that style if you're going to win. And so that is the caveat of Golden Demon. And it's not for everybody. I mean, I'm kind of worried about David because his style is so distinctive, but it's not GW. You can win without the GW style, but you have to be amazing. Like Kaha winning with that giant last year, I think. The giant looked like it was almost painted in watercolor. And I was like, wow, okay, you have to be that good. You have to be that good to have them give you a demon. They have to just shake their heads, say this is too good not to give a demon to, and then go. But for the most part with Golden Demon, you want to paint to the GW style, which is very different from a lot of painter styles. My first competition model took me about 40 hours that was my first Golden Demon winner, about 40 hours on a 28mm model. That's about average, I would say, for 28mm that I'm going to enter. The longest time I've ever spent on a model is 140 hours, Broke Joker. And that was for my giant Soldier 76 statue from Overwatch that I did a repaint on and entered in ReaperCon. I didn't set out, actually, to repaint that with the intention of entering it in a competition. It would just, like, well, I may as well. Alright, so I think I can fit this piece of cork really well over the top of this water, and it's going to make it look more like it's coming down. I feel like I want to get rid of that little pinpoint part there, though. Get rid of that protrudy part. So I think I'm going to grab some of our paste that we like to use it as glue. Yeah, Kaha is just exceptional. Then you might need to take a break, Krinigo. You might need to take a break. I would say put your D&D game on hiatus. Say, I need to take a break, I'm burning out. And take the time to rest. And what I would suggest, since you love hiking, is that I would not demand yourself to paint anything. I would go out and get like inspiration from nature because you like to do it. Assuming that you can do that without getting drowned in Scotland. But maybe in spring. Maybe in spring when you're slightly less drowned. Beating burnout takes time. It takes time. And you also kind of should look at yourself and ask, what gives me energy. And what you've done is essentially you've exhausted your energy penny supply over and over and over again, and then you've just burnt more pennies and you've gotten into debt, and that's why you're in burnout. And it can take weeks. But then maybe sit inside and do some knitting, right? Just put aside the hobby. The hobby will be there for you. You can come back to it anytime you want. But give yourself time to not feel pressured. And also maybe ask yourself what contributed to the energy penny deficit in the first place. Like how were you pushing yourself that essentially got you where you were, so that you can try to not do that again. So we're using, this is Liquitex. It is flexible modeling paste. I am laying it down because it's kind of cool. It'll stick the cork down. It'll also serve as a gap filler. So I can put the cork perching on places that otherwise the cork would not be all happy about. But yeah, you should never pressure yourself to do the hobby. Like, that's cool that your puppy is coming soon, Kodiak. Enjoy. Remember, there are shark teeth. There are definitely shark teeth. Kiki, also remember it's going to take a while for your puppy to be a grown-up shepherd. They keep puppy brain for a long time. Kiki is still puppy brain, but she's now at past a year and a half. She's now starting to show signs of being an adult dog. So I'm just going to use the paste. I'm going to shove that rock right up against the water here. And then on the other side, I think I need a little bit more over there too. So I'm going to grab this other piece. But the nice thing about cork is you can use a hobby knife and you can just kind of poke it and get it on the end there and then place it and say, does this work? You know, that kind of thing. That looks actually pretty good right there. So I'm going to keep this one and put some paste down. But yeah, I mean, probably the best thing to do with burnout is to figure out what kind of activities give you energy. If it's just walking and thinking, I'm one of those people. I get energy from just like taking long walks and thinking about stuff. I also get energy from making like lists and planning, being organized. I get energy from that. So sometimes I'll just feel overwhelmed and that'll contribute to burnout. I need to stop and organize my space and just really make a list of things that are clogging up my mind and get them out on paper. And then I see that they really aren't that much at all. I've just been over worrying about them. So, but everybody's different. Everybody gets energy different ways. So what usually happens with burnout is that you've been depleting your energy stores, but you haven't been refilling them. All right, so we've got that there and that there. Yeah, you may just need to take a break and relax and not have people depending on you all the time for that game, yeah. I mean, you can always go back to it or find a new one. I mean, you seem to have been very consistent with that game too. I mean, most groups understand if the GM is, you know, especially with the stuff you've been going through. If those people don't understand that you need a break to like get back into your own head, you know, they should understand. All right, so that makes it much cooler. That is essentially going to let us kind of compact this channel. When I do the water effects over the top of this, I'm going to try to show that the water is kind of being compressed together here by doing like ridges of water kind of rushing together. Yeah, no, Cornico, I mean, vent. Who else are you going to vent to? Come on. And it's useful, right? I like being able to like help like that, because I think really that's the core of it, is think about, yeah, and it could be Christmas, this is just compiling on top of it, But if Christmas is really hitting you this hard, maybe it is time to take a break on everything and just take a step back. Think about it. Just think about it. Kind of envision your life without it for a while and ask yourself, you know, how you'd feel. Like, especially if, like, when it comes time to do the game, you just kind of feel stressed and tired and you don't feel excited and energized about it, then sometimes that can be time to take a break. See, your players are going to hunt me down and... Oh, you're painting a few yeah, okay. I missed that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Clint was kind of hard to finish for that reason. I did feel a bit pressured there. Okay, so we're going to have feet that are going to be, his feet are going to be going here. So I need to pose him and really look at that. And I'll need to drop that water down, right? Because his cape kind of slots into that. All right. I'm going to close my paste for a moment so it doesn't keep evaporating. And I'm going to press down that green stuff. Yeah, I hope you get past it, Kuro. I mean, if it is burnout, then hope you can figure out what it is. Or if you don't figure out what it is, then figure out, like, something that would help you feel better. Alrighty, so I'm going to put his feet down on this, and that actually does work. The water goes up right behind his cape. I'm going to flatten down that top, though, the top of it. You're not going to see it much anyway back here because his this is kind of just meant to go off into the ether. Just turn it. But yeah, all of this is going to be buried under the back of the back of the model, so there and there and there. Okay, good. So I can texture this with the cork and then we'll be good. Yeah. Alrighty, so that given, I need to put a little bit more extra just around the water. I think I'm going to use these little crumblies just to build up a little bit more of an edge around here and there. But yeah, I think the single biggest cause of like losing energy and burnout is doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't give us energy and not making enough time for ourselves, right? Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of paste just on the edge here. I can periodically feel myself flirting with burnout when I've been going too hard, too long on like Patreon and writing and everything else that without giving myself time to recharge. Alright, I'm just ripping apart little bits of cork. I need these to be pretty small and low-lying. I just need a little bit more 3D and also a little bit of rock to come in on the edge here and break up the water so that it looks more organic. Super glue would fix this cork in place right away, but it would also make it really brittle, and it wouldn't, it's not sculptable. Yeah, see, sometimes talking about it. Yeah, that's a bit, why don't, yeah. I mean, far be it for me, to like, you know, say drop something of Reapers, but why not step, if you, honestly, if you're doing all that for Christmas, you don't need RCI to keep yourself motivated. Or RCL. Ah. Yeah, I think you may have pushed yourself a little farther, Kuro. I don't know, maybe you're an Iron Woman. But for me, I look at that and I go, hee. Yeah, that would be burnout for me. That would be burnout. In fact, I wouldn't even finish it. That would be me. I would be like, I would nope out of that, like, about now. I think probably would be the point or Tuesday or Wednesday would be the point I would nope out and go, I'm just not going to get it done and just, like, slide into this heap. That would be me. You are indeed the Iron Woman. Yeah, but still. All right. And then having built up a little bit, you can see a little bit of that. And it's just subtle stuff, but having the stones be higher is just what you expect around water. And then any gaps, I can totally fill in with water effects when I get to it. All right, so now I'm going to build up this side just a little bit. Yeah. A lot of us have the habit of overcommitting a lot because we want to get a lot of stuff done. And sometimes if you have the personality for it, you will get energy from that. Like people who are high achiever, like who really, really are about getting crap done and getting accolades and finishing things and hearing the praise and all that kind of thing. And that can give you energy. But I am not one of those people. Oh, Bork. Bork, says Kiki. Keeks, how about no? Yeah, I'm going to put a little bit of more rock here, Kiki. So I'm using my clay shaper for this because the silicone is so easy to wipe off. Get the paste off of it. Hey, Keeks, what's up? You going to come in and investigate? Or are you going to hang out there? I have a good piece, a good shape for this right here. And that's going to help me raise up that bank. And then I think a little bit right here. I just need to find a good, now I have a good shape there, I think. This is why I kept all my little bits. So because I'm not using super glue or anything like that, I'm using this paste instead to glue things together. I will likely put a layer of white glue thinned over the whole thing here once I've got it together. It's going to help to just glue everything down. You can also mix glue with paint and do that. There we go. That's actually, I really like this big protuberance of rock. So let's actually pick this up very gently. And see how much more rocky that looks. And it shouldn't interfere with foot placement. Nope. Should be fine. So the only flat spot we've got left is really this one, which has a little bit of texture on it. So if I'm going to put some grass and stuff there, I want to keep it flat. Alright, I kind of like that. I think we're pretty good. I think I'll be able to put water effects over the top of that to good effect and make a bit of splooshes down here at the bottom. Probably be able to fill this kind of with splooshy foam and make it look like the foot of a waterfall. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see if I need anything else. I probably want to fill in some of this area. If I don't want water all the way around, I do need to fill it in. We're pretty good on that side. But yeah, we could put a little bit of the texture modeling paste in there and use a few of these little bits of cork that I've got. Because the point was not just surround this thing with water, otherwise a resin pour would have been the way to do it. But yeah, resin pours are too... I'm sure there's somebody out there doing YouTube videos on them. I don't need to. Plus fumes. Plus fumes, Papa. You don't need the fumes. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to do that or if I want to... Sometimes... I feel like using a throwaway brush for this is the way to go, and I think I'm going to reach for my GW dry brush for this. If I can find where I stuffed it. It's over here somewhere. And then maybe we can do our top on Alistrilee. Where is my... There it is. And I'm going to kind of poke at Alistrilee and see how her putty has come up. Yeah, it's mostly lost its stickiness now, so now we can actually dip it in flocking without picking up a lot of that stuff. So let's add on some more putty here, we'll add on the modeling paste, the sculpting paste, and then we will do the top of Alistrilee. Trying to avoid getting too globby on this paste so I can actually aim. And I'm just going to go up onto the lip of that base. But really I just want a little bit of texture in there. I can take my nail and just kind of get that goop off the top. Yeah, Vince is good. Vince is a good teacher. He's got good. Hey, Ultra's good. Thanks for the happy partner anniversary. I like Vince. There we go. Just popped a little bit of extra cork in there. This part, that's right. I was going to maybe tackle this big underside here because it's still flat. And I want it to be a little more organic back there. And I do like the way it projects. So I'm going to wear away at it here. So maybe we will finish on this one after all, and we'll just do a Alistrilee's finish next time. And I've got a piece here that doesn't want to come off, and it's, if you look at it, there's the line between these two layers of cork, and this piece is right in the middle. That can serve you very well. You want to interrupt that flat fitting line. So if I leave that piece in there and I don't take it out and I put a bunch of modeling paste in there to glue it down and create texture, Thanks, Splintered Brush. Yes. Yes, partner anniversary it is. So that'll help disguise the fact that we're using cork here, along with all of the irregularities that we put up on the front. If you really want to disguise it, you can skin over the whole thing, of course, but that's a lot of work, and I like cork. I like the texture it brings, so. Now we could just use the sculpting paste to actually make this more irregular, and that might be the way to go, because I don't think I want to try to pull off much of this, because I might compromise the whole thing, because this is still just a projection of cork, so if I put too much strain, I could crack this. Even though this ridge of green stuff I put up here is going to help a lot, might hold it together, but I want to be cautious. So if I do pluck away part of this little lip down here, I want to use my knife actually. And I want to support this part above it. And I just want to try to rip out a little bit. There. I'm going to try to rip out a little bit more here. But the knife can help you to cut stuff away and help it fragment. So I can cut it away for the first part, and then I can use some sculpting paste for the next part. There. Oop. Lost a bunch of little bits. Now that still looks like it's just too much. I gotta be careful. I want to take it out too much. There, that's a little better. Yeah, I needed that big chunk to come off. There we go. All right, now let's give ourselves a little bit of sculpting goo. That's too fat. There we go. Putting this on the underside, and I'm going to kind of try to blend it in as much as I can over here, and then I'm going to grab some rocks. And I'm going to put those in there to build up kind of an underside of the overhang so that there's some support there like that. So now we've taken a lot of the flat away from it. There's still little bits that I feel like I might remove. There. There we go. There we go. Now we have much more of a natural look. This is much more like something I'd see in Arizona or New Mexico. I feel like I do need just a little bit more, but I need to be careful because I've got a lot of wet putty around this stuff right now. So that's much more ragged. All right, we made a lot of good progress on Mellonir's face today. So I think we'll come back to these both tomorrow and start painting Alistrilee's and still work on whatever we need to work on Mellonir's. We may have to start painting his as well. I'm going to paint it before I attach him. But we have a little bit of time left, so haven't quite decided what I want down here. If I want to put an Easter egg of some sort down there, or if I just want to make some more spring grass or something, or if I want to put texture. I haven't quite decided. I do think I want to put cork here though, or something, some sort of texture, because I don't want it to be water. I don't need to now, Pendrake. I glued it with green stuff. The ankle is invisible. The break is invisible. And when I brought in the green stuff back here, I pressed it in to anchor that break point. So essentially the green is holding the cape in place. Probably more effectively than super glue, actually, because it's more plastic. So once that sets, it's not going to move. Honestly, it was so invisible, I forgot it was broken, and then I realized I was green stuffing it in, and I'm like, well, that'll do. Because right now, the seam is absolutely perfect, so if I add glue, I'm going to have to repaint. I can't even see the seam without pushing it out of place. Thanks, Supreme. Thanks for the happy anniversary. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just leave it. I think it's gonna be just fine. Once this, like, I tapped it there and it didn't move. So once that green sets, I think we're good. And if I want, I can bring more green in. I did anchor the bottom of the cape right there too, really, really subtly. But I might use some glue right there, just a bead of it, just to make sure it sets. But it's gonna hold it in place just fine. Like, I can hold it, shake it, it ain't moving. Is not moving. And I don't really want to repaint, so that's where we are. Okay, remember what we do though with our flexible modeling paste is we add water at the end of our work period, right? We don't want it to dry out. And there's a lot of it, and it's going to last forever as long as we keep actually moisturizing it. So I'm going to just add a little bit of my water from my jar. I'm going to pop the lid on. And I'm going to roll it so that it gets the stuff in the lid as well. And it should just generally melt in. Yeah. I mean, grease stuff is going to be tougher than a super glue bond anyway, once it sets. So I think we'll be good. Yeah. So we did a lot here. We did a lot of good stuff. I might do a little bit more there. I might just go ahead. I might end up adding a little bit. I'll end up using these flat pieces here for grass. So the white that we can see, which we did put some texture on just with the paste. So that'll be a grass base for us. Yay! Okay, but I'm pretty happy as far as where the water looks now. Like I said, we'll be using other water effects to add to it once I've got this all set. But I'm pretty happy with the suggested shapes right now for that. But I think we're almost set. I think that's about where I want to stop anyway. So I'm going to put my sculpting tools away and my dry brush away. Any questions, guys? Yep. Rest of the day is all running around for Christmas crap. And I'll get back to the Patreon tomorrow. I'll just have to set it aside. Sometimes you have to just go, you're not going to get anything useful done today, just give it up. But at least I have new super glue. But yes, thank you much everybody for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, tomorrow we'll work more on these and we'll get Alistrilee done. And we'll at least probably be able to I don't know what we're just going to work on this. Like, because I'm doing more on this, we're just going to work on it as we go and just follow our gut. But yes, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you are more progressed on your Christmas and can ignore it. Oh, stretch. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow morning. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you then. All right, thank you, Quindy, for riding herd on the cats. Real and human.